Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of A Star Wars Journey with Ashley and Brandi. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Brandi.
And tonight we have journeyed home back to the original trilogy where our journey started a long, long time ago. Is that right, Brandi?
It's so awesome. Just reflecting on our journey and how far we've come. We were 84 years in Clone Wars.
Yes. And Rebels too, even though
and Rebels also, but it all paid off beautifully. And because I was talking to someone the other day about what we were doing, and they said, "So, have you watched Phantom Menace?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "We watched that 1st." And I was like, and they're like, "And all of it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all of it. We're doing all of it."
Like, so they couldn't believe it.
They couldn't believe it. And then they're like, "So you're finally to the original trilogy." And I'm like, "I know, it's like coming home."
That's exactly how it feels. It feels like coming home. It's just, I got just so many warm, fuzzy feelings watching them again. Want to say a quick hi to Luna Girl. She was the first one to say hello.
Hey,
and then the guys over at the Escape Pod. You guys are just so wonderful, so loyal.
We love you.
We have, I don't have words for how much I love you guys. So yeah,
and they're my favorite pod, by the way. I mean, no offense to anybody that comes in the chat.
Right.
Like Charlie, he's got a great show. And Rogue One Radio, we're going to shout those guys out. But I love the Escape Pod. It's my Wednesday night go-to.
Same.
I love it.
Yep. You guys are awesome. We love you too. Oh. So, okay, I'll let you have the floor. Do we have any shout outs or anything before we get to news?
I wanted to shout out Steve at Rogue One Radio. He's part of the Red 5 family. Okay. He does something, I've never mentioned this on the show before, but he does something called Women Power Wednesday on Twitter.
Oh.
And he like shouts out so many powerful, awesome, like Red Fivers, non-Red Fivers, ladies that are in the fandom. And he's just like a really like femme positive podcaster, and we love that. Like, yeah. I'm all about that.
Same.
And so shout out to Steve at Rogue One Radio. That's our shout out.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what news is out there with Star Wars? I mean, what's going on?
Well, the biggest news is a little something dropped today.
Oh, no way. Really?
No way. I know. Just a little trailer on a show that we might be interested in. We might have a mutual interest in.
Yeah.
So when I'm on a Discord, it's actually a Discord for the Mandalorian. And so when I saw someone posted Book of Boba Fett trailer just dropped, and I'm like, what? Like now?
Right.
And so I raced, they had posted the link in the spoiler section, and I raced over there and watched it. And we just want to we want to get you guys' thoughts, and we want to share our thoughts. But based on what worked, what didn't, what we're excited for, what we're kind of like okay about. Because this is a huge thing, and it's definitely news.
It is definitely news. Yeah, it's major news. Like, I mean, ever since the end scene of the season 2 of The Mandalorian, I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with this? So, it really looks like very epic, cinematic in scope. Like, it just seems like they're constantly upping their game. I am so excited. I was so excited, like, just hearing Tamara Morrison's voice again,
yes.
He just, he is Boba Fett to me, and just so excited to see him and to see Ming-Na Wen return as Fennec Shand. I was so excited to see her in Bad Batch, and knowing that she kicked Cad Bane's ass. So knowing that she can do that, I can't wait to see her mess up some more people in the Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, this is looking really epic and crazy. I want to know what everybody else thinks that's watching right now. What do you guys think about the trailer? Like, did you like it? Luna Girl loves it. All capital letters. I love the trailer. No, that it's really awesome. So there was some things that kind of spoke out to me. Like, did you see the part where you see Boba Fett's helmet get thrown and there's a bunch of coins that fall out? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah. And, I just want to address what Don just said at the escape pod. It really underwhelmed me because I was going to let you share your thoughts.
Okay.
Because like we haven't discussed this. We've saved it
no,
for the
this
show.
this is fresh.
This was a good trailer. I think it was a teaser trailer.
It was short, I thought.
It was
for my
short.
taste.
I thought the color palette was strangely muted. Like, because Jabba's palace was like such a place of like vibrancy and energy.
Yeah. I didn't notice that.
And I just noticed the color palette being a little muted.
Okay.
And it was kind of like they're talking about crime families and joining crime families into a syndicate. And I'm just like, I'm one of those people that like The Godfather, but I don't love The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
And so it really kind of like didn't tickle my fancy in a way. Like it just sort of like drug a little bit for me. And that whole scene where they were talking about Jabba and they're like, Jabba, for your insolence would have like murdered you already or whatever. Boba Fett was like, I'm not going to rule by fear. I'm going to rule by respect, which I thought was cool. I think I really like the scene of him like kicking ass. That was awesome.
That's always awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like the whole, I'm not a bounty hunter. And he's like, and the other guy's like, well, that's not what I heard. And so that sent me cheering. I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just sort of left me unfulfilled.
Well, it doesn't tell us much, but I think that's kind of the point of a teaser. They don't want to share too much.
They don't want to share too much. They want to keep you hungry, but I don't know if like this made me hungry. I'm definitely, don't get me wrong, like I'm totally down for Book of Boba Fett. I'm excited, but like this didn't like blow me away.
Okay.
I'm not blown away.
Okay. And that's totally fine. You don't have to be. Amanda actually made a really good observation, or at least a question. She's wondering if one of those Trandoshans is actually Sid from the Bad Batch, which would be really interesting. If she was Sid from the Bad Batch, they'd be really, really old, right? Because Bad Batch, that's from way back, right? Yeah. So, and I don't know how long Trandoshans live, but that would really be cool, actually, to bring her back.
And and it was cool to see some of like the species at that table, like they were.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
It was really cool seeing, and you kind of saw some familiar species and some familiar characters from Jabba's palace and people that would be contemporaries of his. And so that part excited me. I like that. I really love Fennec Shan. I love her. So she was great in the whole trailer. Have you seen the poster? The poster's great.
I didn't see the poster. I'm gonna have to look that up.
The poster excited me more than the trailer.
Really?
It's Boba Fett looking very imposing, looking very classic, and Fennec Shan like off to his left, right behind him, looking really badass.
Okay.
So it's tight. You should watch it. I mean, look at it.
Look at it. I'll definitely check it out.
You already watched it.
I've already seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I think it's cool. So yeah, the teaser doesn't tell us much, but I'm sure that the full trailer is going to probably show a little bit more. I'm really wondering if they're going to bring the Rancor back. That would be kind of cool.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool. So I'm trying to see, do I have any other notes here? It didn't.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I got really excited when Fennec Shan said that Jabba would have already fed you to his menagerie. And I'm like, yes, the Rancor.
Yes.
So that was kind of like an indirect shout out. And I love the Rancor so much.
Precisely. Yeah. Same here. So I'm hoping we see it again, because I think that would be really awesome. And also, again, my biggest hopes is to try to find out how the heck did Boba Fett get out of the the Sarlacc, you know.
Yeah, we know he's got a few scars, like we saw with the scarring and stuff in The Mandalorian. And so he didn't get out unscathed, but how in the world did he get out?
Right, exactly. So I'm hoping that we'll see a flashback
Yeah,
or
we need a
something.
flashback. Yeah.
Yeah. Dragon Buddy said that there was a leak of a Rancor cut. So that would be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yes, you should hook us up with that, Dragon Buddy.
Yeah.
I need to see that really badly.
Same, me too. You know what? I know we're kind of like doing this on the fly, but I'm really wanted to, in the beginning of our podcast, hear like what everybody did for Halloween. Do you mind switching it up a little bit?
Oh, no.
Going from the Boba Fett trailer to hearing how everybody's Halloween was?
No,
because I know you had a good time yesterday.
I had a great time. Halloween's my favorite holiday, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I love Thanksgiving and I love Christmas for the meaning behind both of it. I mean, that's paramount. You can't beat it. But Halloween is my favorite holiday. And I really celebrated all weekend. I always watch my boy Michael Myers. And
of course you do, yeah.
Little girl knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely watched. I had a horror movie marathon and enjoyed that on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I took my nephew out trick-or-treating and we went to like 3 festivals.
Wow.
We did everything that we could possibly do. And because he's at that age where like he's almost ready to stop trick-or-treating. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is this
gotta push that as long as you can?
Yes.
You don't get your childhood back.
Is this gonna be the last time we do this together? So I was kind of like, oh. And so anyway, we had a wonderful magical day, and just thank you for asking. It was everything it could be and more.
Really?
We made lots of memories. Yes.
Good. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. What about you?
So mine started out, so my mom watched my kids the night before so that my husband and I could clean the house, because that's what we do when there's no kids in the house, we clean it. So Saturday, so that was on Saturday, and then Saturday night we watched a scary movie, which it was a new one that came out called The Night House, and it was like interesting and different and I guess innovative in some respects, but nothing like, the classics like Halloween and all of those, but there were some scary parts, so that was fun, I guess. Then I got up early, picked up the kids, and I came home and I wanted to make something really hot for after we went trick-or-treating, because it got cold up here. I live up in the northern states, so it gets cold this time of year. So I made like hot soup, and then I make like this famous apple cider, which is amazing. So made a big thing of it. Yeah, I'll have to send you my recipe. It's really good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I made that and got all set. And then I actually have another friend named Ashley, believe it or not. I've known her since I was 13, and she's got 3 kids. And she lives about an hour from here, and I invited her to come trick-or-treating with me and my kids in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, how do I even say this delicately? But one of my kids decided to have an accident, I guess, right when my friend arrived with all her kids.
Oh,
so I had to scramble and take care of that before,
Mom mode.
Yeah.
Total
so I was like
mode.
Rushing, and you only get 2 hours to trick or treat, so here I'm already eating into 15-20 minutes of trick-or-treating time, so
no.
So it was a little stressful in the very beginning, but it worked out well. We managed to hit like our neighborhood, and then a neighborhood like down the road from us, and the kids really made out big time. Like my neighborhood, there's some people that give out like full-size candy bars and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, that's the dream.
Absolutely.
That is the dream.
It was. So my son had this big bag, and it was like really heavy. So yeah, Halloween was a success. And then when we came home, I fed them their, my homemade soup, and we turned on Nightmare Before Christmas. So.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
That sounds like so nice. I told my nephew Tom, I'm like, I love going with you and doing things with you, because like you being happy makes me happy. And I love like seeing you do things that I used to do, because like I low key still want to do them. So,
right.
And I saw a meme on Facebook about how their neighbors were doing trick or treating for adults and then the trick or treating for the kids.
Yeah.
And they had a bowl of candy out for the kids, and it said if you're a kid, take one, and it's like if you're an adult, knock. And the guy behind the
I
door
saw that.
opened it and gave him
And
like
he's
little
dressed as
bottles
Michael Myers, right?
Michael Myers gave him
Yes.
little bottles of tequila, and I'm like, yes, baby, that's what I'm
That's
talking
awesome.
about.
That was cool. That's a really good idea.
That's really cool because, like, I miss trick or treating. Like, I love
Me too.
Halloween.
Same.
Like, I wish like social mores were not so strict that we couldn't trick or treat.
Right?
Trick-or-treat.
I know. They should have trick or treating for adults. I mean, seriously.
Totally good.
That's so awesome.
And
So-
all the festival stuff my nephew did, and like I told him, I'm like, I want to do it too, and he's like, you should, and I'm like, well, baby, they just really don't want adults to do it.
Right.
They just want you to do it.
Then they look at us as moochers going around and asking for free stuff, right?
Right. And I just want to like
But
relive
kids, it's
the
okay.
joy of my childhood. Yeah.
Right.
I don't want
Exactly.
to. I'm not trying to get anything free.
Right?
So if you wanna give me
It's
some
more
candy,
the act
that's
of
okay.
doing it. Yeah, it's fun. So the only reason why I wanted to bring up Halloween and all of that was I wanted to segue into something I saw on Facebook that I know you're going to love, and you'll have to look it up later. But you know Steve Irwin's son, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forget his name. I should know his name, but off the top of my head, I'm forgetting. But he dressed up as Loki from Loki. And he had a little baby crocodile, and he had the head, the horns, and everything.
gosh.
It was so awesome. Like,
you got to send me that. You have to send it to me, or I'll look it up or whatever because I'm lazy.
Yeah, but it was just so awesome. Like, you would have loved it.
I saw a couple of my Facebook friends and stuff. A couple of them were Lady Lokis. They didn't say her name, but
Okay.
They were Lady Lokis, and then the significant other was like the candidate Loki that had like vote for Loki. Remember candidate Loki?
Oh yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Cool. So they were both Lokis, so it was just really awesome. It was really cool. I love
that.
Loki
Is cool. I know you do.
I have to get back to our after party.
yes, I know. We got to get to that. And we probably could because we'll be watching The Mandalorian this week. So we'll have to free up a little time to watch that. So,
yeah.
Okay, so now back to Star Wars. Sorry for the big switcheroo, guys. Wanted to squeeze in Halloween. So is there any other news, I guess, besides the Boba Fett?
Yeah, well, Daisy Ridley's got a new movie in the works.
Daisy Ridley does? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi thing, something to do with like memory transportation, or it's like really out there, but I think she's a headliner. So I'm happy for her.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, me too. I love her.
Yeah. And also there's some sources that say Rosario Dawson starts working on Ahsoka in December.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yay. Oh gosh, I can't wait to see leaks about that.
Joker and Harley. That's awesome.
That is really cool. I've always wanted to dress up as the Joker, actually. He's like my favorite villain, actually.
Yeah, he's such a great villain. But now which Joker do you like? Or do you like all of them?
Gosh, this is so hard because, okay, so I really feel bad, but when I first heard that Heath Ledger was playing the Joker in The Dark Knight, I was like, what? No one can ever beat Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
I know. I'm a purist like that too. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, I really loved Heath Ledger as the Joker. Like he's amazing. As soon as I saw him play the Joker, I'm like, he's gonna win the Academy Award. Like he's gonna win it. I just knew it. And he did. And so it might be a tie. I don't know. But it's Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. So.
Well, what did you think about Joker, the movie?
I didn't see it.
Girl, you need to watch that.
Yeah. Okay. I won't get disturbed or anything by watching it because it looks pretty.
No, like it's really gritty. It's a very gritty film.
Okay.
But it's a really like psychological look at the inner workings of what made the Joker become the Joker.
Okay, that
And
would be
he,
fascinating to see.
I can't remember his name. What's his name?
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I was saying Joaquin in my mind, but I don't know why didn't say it. But
right.
Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job with
He's an
that.
awesome actor.
Yeah, he is. I
He's
loved
incredible.
everything he's in.
Same, me too.
Whenever I always say the hallmark of a great actor is when you forget the other roles that they played.
Yes,
So,
I
like,
agree.
so in the Joker, I wasn't thinking, oh, it's Johnny Cash. I was thinking, oh, it's the Joker. I mean,
Yep.
it was really, really good.
For me, what I love, and then I always get caught up in this too, but when I'm watching a really great performance, if I can look into the actor's eyes and not see the actor, but I just see this character and they've embodied it, then I know that this is an effective performance,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
where I just cannot see anybody else except this character. So,
yeah, lots of love for Ahsoka in the chat right here. Ahsoka,
yes.
we love her so much.
We love her. I love her. I can't wait to see. Rosario Dawson was just perfect pick for that role. So I can't wait to see that whole series.
It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see how they weave Anakin in there. Like, I just want to see some tense scenes. Like, Rebels gave us a little bit of that.
Well, Rebels really gave me what I wanted more than anything, and I really wanted that confrontation with Ahsoka and Anakin or Vader. You know, I felt like that's what I wanted in Clone Wars. That's what I thought I was going to get, but it's like, no, I had to wait for that, unfortunately.
You had to wait a long time for
I had to wait, man. Yeah. But it was good. It was worth it. It was totally worth it.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, is that it for news?
That's it. Yeah, that's really all there is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we can dive right into the original trilogy.
I'm super ready for this.
Me too.
This is like two heavyweights facing off.
Yes.
Like Empire and Jedi are just right up there for me.
Same here. I find myself so I don't know why, but it's like every time I watch Return of the Jedi, I find myself loving it more than I do Empire. But just that Empire to me is such a perfect film, you know.
Right.
So but I thought it was perfect. I love that we watched them back to back. I mean, it worked out really great.
Yeah, it was great.
But and yeah, so we didn't take notes while we were watching it because we both have seen it a million times. But I have our chat. I have our little chat here. So when we do our watch together, we just chat back and forth through Facebook and make comments to each other and stuff.
We chat back and forth a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Like one time I think we had like 150 message notifications on my phone because we're messaging back and forth. But for my first note here, you said that the very first scene of Star Wars that you ever saw was when Luke was hanging upside down. And did we have a name for that creature? I forget. Is there a name for that abominable snowman like?
No,
creature?
there is a name for the oh shit.
Let's
see. Sorry.
I expect you to know these things, not me. Unless someone in the comments knows.
The Wampa.
Knows what it is.
Yes, the Wampa. Thank you, a Mandalorian.
The Wampa. Okay.
Yes.
The Wampa.
Thank you for being here. But yeah.
Yes.
The Wampa Cave. I don't know why I don't remember that.
That's what. Well, I just kind of threw it out there at you. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, that was like I'll set the stage.
Yeah.
Like I'll set the stage. Okay. My introduction to Star Wars. We were on vacation in the mountains, and we rented a chalet. And my cousin, who is probably 10 years older than I am, was stretched out on the floor watching whatever, Empire Strikes Back, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
And I was like 8 years old. And, and so it was, it was on TV or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, "Come here, I want to show you something really cool." And I'm like, okay. And I go, and it's Luke hanging upside down in the Wampa Cave, and he's calling the lightsaber to his hand.
Okay.
And that moment I fell in love.
Okay.
That was it. And
and
I had to know everything. Like, what is this?
Yes.
Like, is there more? And like how 8-year-old kid does. It's like
It becomes an addiction, and you need more. Yes,
it's an addiction, right?
hmm
It's like
that's what happened to me.
don't give me one piece of candy, give me all the candy. And
Exactly.
it was so seminal for me. And so
Yeah.
every time I see that, well, I have a Ralph McQuarrie print framed in my bedroom of Luke on that scene where Luke is on the Tauntaun and he's
Okay.
on the ridge and he's
Yeah.
scouting. So
Yeah.
I have that Ralph McQuarrie print, and so it's like hanging right where I can see it from my bed. So
Perfect.
it's one of my favorite pieces of art. So I
That's
love it.
awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love
Okay.
Empire so much.
I
Yeah.
do too. There's just so much. You can just tell so much has happened between A New Hope and Empire. I mean, you just see
Mhm.
where the characters are. I already love like where Han is, where he's very much involved in the rebellion and everything,
Mhm.
and his relationship with Luke, how it's grown to the point where he's willing to risk his life to go out into
Love
the
that.
cold, to find him. And
I always loved the line, "Then I'll see you in hell."
yes,
That I
yes,
always love that because like that's just total Han.
it is
Total
completely.
Han's like, then I see you in hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's gonna die out there looking for Luke. And so well, at the end of A New Hope, we see Luke and Han's still trying to leave, which I think is hilarious.
Yes,
Han is trying to leave at the end of A New Hope. At the beginning of Empire, he's still trying to
he's
leave.
still trying to leave.
And I'm like, boy, you are in the rebellion now. You're
Right.
not going in, and you're also in love with
You're in
Princess
love with
Leia.
Leia,
So
okay? So that was obviously one of my favorite aspects of Empire is watching Han and Leia just kind of fall in love. Um, and so it was just so fun to watch that back and forth and the tension. And it's like she can't stand the fact that she's falling for this scoundrel.
exactly.
Um,
And guys, George Lucas could write a love scene, and so
mhm.
this is evidence.
Yeah,
This is evidence that he could do it
he could
at
do it
one
at one
point.
point.
At one
Yes.
point before things started to unravel. And so
Right.
we don't know
I don't
when
know
that
why he
happened.
wrote the words "I don't like sand," but you know, but he at one point wrote some
It's
really good.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I wonder if Anakin's going to watch Dune.
I wonder. Yeah.
It's a movie about sand.
About
So,
sand,
yeah,
exactly.
you're going to watch it. But yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Lucas. Lucas is our, thank the maker. He gave us all these wonderful characters,
Hmm.
but something happened between Empire and Attack of the Clones, and it was just a lot of years, I think, and a lot of,
Yep, I think so. Um, and so, yeah, there's just so much great stuff that happens in this film. So, yeah, Han's character development, the development between Han and
right.
Leia and Luke. One of my favorite aspects of it also was Luke meeting Yoda and the whole Jedi
Yes,
training process. That to
love
me,
that. I love that.
yeah, just the like the overall philosophy of all of the training that Yoda is trying to entrench into Luke.
Well, it's like there's a sense of urgency. I mean, like
Yes.
I think Yoda was aware that the end of his life was near. Like
Yes.
I think that intrinsically, and so he knew that the time that he had was limited with Luke, and he had to give him as much as he could in the time that he had,
Mm-hmm.
and everything out of his mouth was like a tutorial on the Force. I mean,
Yes.
it was just like a speed class.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from the balancing, from the words of wisdom to the test of the cave, which
Yep.
is one of my favorite scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me years to understand it because I saw this when I was a kid,
Right.
and so when you see it, you're like, "Is Luke Darth Vader?" And you're like, no, not years later, it kind of seeps in, and you're like, oh, okay, I get
Right.
it. He's
Yep.
facing what could happen.
What could happen, potential foreshadowing. Yep.
Right.
And I think that, it also helps just from the audience perspective of keeping things like, will he turn to the dark side or not? It keeps us guessing.
Oh, hey, Brady.
Brady, hello.
The other half, arguably better half, Brady, of the escape pod.
Yes.
John might have something to say about that.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, going off on what you were saying too, I love how you highlighted like that sense of urgency, because that was something that I never really realized watching Empire, but you're totally right about it. And it's just, to me, is amazing how Yoda was able to take that on, like the amount of pressure that would put on his shoulders, and the kind of patience that he would need with Luke, because obviously like that failure in the cave, and then also his failure in not trusting in the Force, and how he just, Luke still, was almost incredibly superficial when looking at Yoda as a mentor or trainer. Like, you're this old, withering away little
Well, he
creature.
judged him immediately by appearance.
Yes, precisely. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, this is some quirky little weird creature, and I don't want anything to do with him.
Yep.
Like, go away.
Right.
And then when Luke was trying to eat his bento box, I love the Star Wars bento box.
Yes.
I'm such a fan. I want to eat one. Like, if I go to Galaxy's Edge, well, can I order a Star Wars bento box? But anyway,
that would be
probably
cool.
not.
Right.
But yeah, when he's like, hey, that's my lunch, and he's like, how do you get so big eating food such as this?
Right.
And I love everything about it.
Same.
Before the Battle of Hoth is one of my favorite battles.
Same. Yeah.
And I love snow troopers. I just want that out there. Snow troopers are my number one. I love their aesthetic, even though it makes no sense because the visibility of that helmet, coupled with the snow, has got to be terrible.
Yeah.
But they look awesome.
They do.
And that's really what's important. It's all about aesthetics.
Yeah.
And so they look great. So I love snow troopers, followed closely by scout troopers and the Emperor's Royal Guard. I love those red guys.
Yep, and obviously we both see those we see both of those in Return of the Jedi, which we'll get to in a moment. Let's see here. Oh, you commented how you love Leia in pants. Same.
Love that. I love her so much in pants. It's such a power move.
It really is.
I mean, because like Lucas, like denied her a bra, he could have easily denied her pants.
That's true.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I think that was definitely a Carrie Fisher move at that point. She's like, "Damn it, I'm wearing pants in this film. I don't care what you say."
I'm in the snow. My legs are cold.
Right? Exactly.
I mean, she was just like such a badass through the whole film.
But I love how when the "I love you" finally comes out, I love that she's the one that finally breaks,
Yes,
Han, in perfect form, in perfect Han fashion, when his response to the "I love you" is, "I know."
I know.
It's like even as he's about to be frozen in carbonite, he still stays Han.
Yeah, and then Harrison didn't know that he was coming back for Jedi, and so that was the way they were going to write him off.
I see.
And so that would have been one hell of a send off to freeze him, and we never know what happens. But they didn't want to kill him, but then they had to do something to where, in case he never came back, then he's just frozen in carbonite.
Yep. No, that is actually a genius way to sort of keep it like, maybe if he does come back, then we have a way to bring him back. I'm so glad he decided to. I don't know what he was thinking by even not wanting to come back.
Yeah, but I don't know. Amanda just said she loves the Walkers. I do too.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Now awesome. Do you say AT-AT, Ashley, or do you say AT-AT?
I say AT-AT.
So do I.
Okay, good. Because I don't know what the proper terminology is.
It's like pajama.
Oh, yes.
Because there's a divided fan base. There's like,
I believe it.
It's AT-AT. And I'm like, it's AT-AT. But it's whatever, whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want. That's the whole beauty of fandom. It's
Exactly.
whatever you want. If you want something a certain way, odds are there's a portion of the fandom that likes it that way too.
And exactly. And this is completely off base, but this fandom like changes your brain in such a way that like even when you hear commonplace stuff, you make it into something different. Because there's like the shipping crisis, and there's all these damn ships out in the ocean, and we can't get toilet paper, right?
Right.
And so they were talking about on the news that they needed shippers.
Yes.
And
I have a funny story to add to this, but finish yours first.
So I overheard it, and I immediately thought,
hey,
I'm like, oh, they're talking about, okay, not just be normal, Brandi. Damn it, be normal.
So my story happened, it was like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I'm in a room. It was a room called the receiving room, and we have a gift shop where I worked, and they were constantly ordering and receiving things.
Right.
And I was having a conversation with a friend, and I overheard someone say, I wouldn't ship that. Or I wouldn't ship that. And I swear I caught myself, but I was so close. I was ready to turn to her and say, you wouldn't ship who? And I just realized, do you have any idea what they're going to think? But I immediately go to shipping, like,
I would have like turned around and said, ship what you want.
Ship, right?
Oh man, that's crazy.
Isn't that funny? I'm so proud of myself that I caught myself because I was so ready to say it. You wouldn't ship who?
Yeah, and I never my mom watches the news constantly, and it was on in the room.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I know, right? Because I'm not a news girl.
Yeah.
But when they were talking about the shippers and they needed shippers, I'm like, nice.
I think shippers would rise to the occasion if it had something to do with their ship.
There is nothing they can't do.
Right, exactly.
I've seen shippers put characters together that there's no way.
Right.
And they made it work. So
exactly.
They need to be on the job.
Yes. Okay, so we were talking about, what were we talking about with Empire?
Well, we're talking about when Han got frozen in carbonite.
Okay, so Han got frozen in carbonite. So then we get to the big confrontation with Luke and Vader. And, it was at this moment when I was watching it that I realized that this is the first time Luke is fighting anybody with a lightsaber.
Yeah, this
correct?
is his first time out.
His very first time. And he's going up against Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like one of the baddest baddies ever.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I thought, even though he lost a hand, I thought he really put up a good fight. I mean, he got a couple hits on Vader. Yeah. I think he did.
Dagobah's fast track training camp served him well.
It really did.
I mean, so it was really awesome seeing him face off with Vader. And there's always that moment, and as many times as I watch it, where Luke is hiding. Well, he's not hiding, but he's in the corridor and it's really dark. Yeah. And Vader comes out and just slashes with his red saber, and it scares the shit out of me every time.
Really?
Because it's like I'm expecting it, and I think I know when it's going to happen. And then he comes out, and then they start fighting again, and then they go into the big room where Vader uses the Force to throw things at him, which is really impressive.
Yeah. My son actually did watch that part, and I had to explain to him like what was happening because my son still doesn't understand like the Force. You can move things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was explaining to him that Darth Vader was the one using the Force, and he could move things. So yeah, I was trying to school my son in Star Wars because I want him to become obsessed like me.
Young Padawan.
Yes, my young Padawan, exactly.
Oh man, that's so sweet. So I love the I'm your father moment. Luna Girl was like, yeah. And the no was always so comical to me. Like I think Mark Hamill, like he overacted a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's impossible. No.
I felt the same way when I first watched it. I'm not gonna lie. I laughed.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Damn, it's so funny. Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's
And,
worse things in the
but it's
world, right?
but it's iconic. It's so iconic.
It is.
But yeah, I love that. That's impossible.
That's
And and
impossible.
and Mark is an ugly crier like me. Like when I
Yes.
cry, I'm like just like like a
Mm-hmm.
beast from another world. And Mark is the same. So yeah, it was great. It's just a great moment. But
It's a
this was
classic moment.
it's a classic moment, and all jokes aside, he was willing to die rather than join him. And
Yep.
so I think that is like the moment where he became a man or Jedi.
Yes.
Like he grew up in that moment.
He
That was
totally
it.
did. Mm-hmm.
And I still want to know how Maz got her hands on the lightsaber, the
Yeah, that's
legacy
still a
saber.
mystery. I don't think
Yeah,
we're ever
because
gonna
because
know.
it went because we lose his saber at this point, and of
Mm-hmm.
course it reappears in the trilogy series.
Right.
So it's really I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things that we'll never know. But
I'm
I
kind of
wish.
giving up hope that we'll ever find out.
Well,
But
I mean, she said that that's a story for another. Not to trigger anybody, because I don't know how anybody feels about the sequels, but we have
right,
mixed feelings. But
we
she's
do.
like, that's a story for another time. Well, damn it, give me the story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, well, let's see. You know that Favreau and Filoni are working towards the sequels,
Mhm.
so there's probably a chance that they'll write that in. They
Yeah.
almost never leave things out. They almost never forget things, and that's I
I,
think
I would love to see it. I would
yeah.
just love to see
I
it.
think it's on the table. So I get,
Yeah.
maybe I'm reversing my opinion. Maybe there's hope.
Oh, I know I remember having a lot to say about the scene painting and all the CGI that they did to Bespin.
Yes, you talked a
And
lot about that.
I appreciated, because I'm a purist. I love it when I love my faces VHS. My face is
Yeah.
set where they're
Mhm.
untampered. That was the last issued untampered set. I totally accept the changes, but I
Okay.
still bitch about them.
Yeah.
And Bespin, I think they really overdid it with the scene painting. I think
Mhm.
that there were too many like CGI environments. I don't think it fit well with the actors.
Mhm.
And that scene where Luke is on the weather vane and
Oh,
he's
right.
upside down and he calls to Leia and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
That whole environment around him, they changed all that. And to me, that changed the scene for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm like, I have seen these movies more times without the added stuff than with it.
See, that's my problem is, I think because I'm, so much younger and I didn't have the VHS tapes that weren't tampered with. I think the
Right.
first time I got my hands on the DVD set of the original trilogy, all those changes were already made. It was too
Right.
late,
Yeah.
so
So this is the
that's
version you grew up on.
this is the
Yeah.
version I grew up on.
Sure.
But the thing is, I can still tell. That there
Right.
was they messed with it and they changed things. I mean, how can you not tell?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I like it when like you could see the crop lines of the TIE fighters when
yes.
like they're flying through space and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a square. I
Yes.
just think that adds like charm. Like that's the same thing that like, because there's always like almost no one has a perfectly symmetrical face.
Right.
There's always some asymmetry somewhere in somebody's looks, and that's what makes people interested.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes people attractive.
Right.
Is the asymmetry. And
Mm-hmm.
so I liken that to those little quirks and those little goofs and gaffs, like in A New Hope. But I know we're not talking about A New Hope, but in the
Right.
original version, a stormtrooper hits his head on the door frame.
Oh,
And so
right.
they actually cut that out of the special editions.
Ah, really?
And so that moment is lost forever. So we don't. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that was so funny. Why not? I
Right.
mean, they're so funny.
Yeah. I agree. I don't.
So anyway, I don't. I'm just. But back to that scene where he's communicating with Leia. That's the first time that we see Leia has a force
Yep.
ability.
Luna Girl just mentioned that it's a little breadcrumb that
Yes.
Leia
Yeah.
has the Force. And, that was, I think, something that we were all sort of, well, actually, wait, no, we didn't. Did we know at that point that they were brother and sister? No, we did not.
No.
So yeah, that maybe was a breadcrumb also that her and Luke were related somehow. So yeah, I agree. I was excited when I first saw that. But when I was, when I got done watching that movie for the first time, I expected Leia. I wanted to see some like Jedi action with Leia too.
Right.
So that was Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the one thing that I appreciate about the sequels.
Yes.
Or Rise of Skywalker, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or more specifically, is we got to see Leia's training.
A little glimpse of it. Yeah.
That's a glimpse of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because Leia wasn't meant to be a Jedi, but Luke tried.
He tried. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I might say something that might unnerve some people, but this is canon, this is fact. So in this film, Empire, we actually see Force Skype happen, kind of, for the first time. It's canon, and that was between Luke. It was between Luke and Vader. They were on different ships.
Exactly.
So they were Force Skyping, and that's what happened in The Last Jedi between
Rey and Kylo.
Ben and Ren. Yeah. Yep.
And so when he calls out to him in the Force and he instinctively says "Father" in answer, that gives me chills.
Me too. Me too.
Like, I love that scene.
Same. Yeah.
Because I think Luke was like vulnerable at that moment, and he was hurting.
Yes.
And Vader reached out to him not as Vader but as Anakin, and he instinctively just was like "Father," like that. And it was it was beautiful. I love it.
And I forget, does he say son? Does he say son when he's talking back to him? I think he is.
Yes.
Because he's trying to entice him to come with him, to join him. But yeah, no, I love that entire scene. And hold on, I'm reading my notes here. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So anyways, I agree. That gave me chills. And I personally love the ending of Empire where you see Luke putting his arm around Leia. It's like brother and sister, and you got R2 and 3PO, like the whole family. Uh-oh. Who is it? It's probably my 2-year-old daughter. Mommy's busy right now.
You got to knock on the door. I heard that.
I can't escape these kids, I tell you. My daughter literally follows me everywhere. So
I love the standard issue medbay robe that you get like when you go to medbay, because
those look super comfy.
They're so comfy. Oh my gosh. And they're probably lined with like Bacta or something. And
gotta
be. they just like they speed up the healing. But
precisely, I was being healed just watching him wear it. Does that make sense?
I say
I feel so calm right now.
when he got back from out in the outside in Hoth, and we didn't even talk about Han cutting open the tauntaun, but he told that was totally epic.
That was cool.
But so when he gets back, out of the Bacta tank or whatever, he's wearing a robe, and then like when he gets his hand cut off, you get a robe.
Yeah.
So
there was lots of robes in this movie. It was so great. Okay, so I guess anything else to add about Empire? I mean,
we better hurry.
We better get to Return of the Jedi. I'm anxious to get to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
so
me too. Empire is Don's favorite, but Return of the Jedi is mine.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi just really holds a big spot in my heart, just because mainly it's the last 15, 20 minutes of the film, So I just remember when I want to tell you the first time I ever saw Star Wars. I want to tell you my story. So I was probably 7 or 8, and it's a long time ago, so I'm having a hard time remembering. I just remember sitting on the couch of this guy's house that my dad was helping paint. Like it was a buddy of his, and they were painting houses together, like a business. Right. And I don't know if it was after a job, and we were hanging out at this guy's house. It was in the summer. It was the afternoon. I think they were grilling out, and the TV was on, and the kids were in the living room. We're all in the living room watching this movie, and it was Return of the Jedi. And it was the scene with the Ewoks, and it was when that Ewok was poking at Leia, who had just fallen off of the speeder in the woods. And I just remember looking at that thing going, that thing is so cute and cuddly, and I want one. And I'm like, what is this? And
Oh man, I love the Ewoks. They get a lot of, they actually get fan hate for some reason.
I'm sure they do,
And
but I was in love with them at 8 years old.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that was and I'm sure Lucas, considered that would be a big draw for children.
Yeah, well, there was that other show, and you said that it's on Disney Plus now, and I've seen it, but I haven't watched it yet. But I remember I did watch that after it came out, because I specifically remember that blonde girl with the curly hair, and then that Ewok that I love so much, forget his name. But I was just like in love with those things.
Right.
But yeah, that was my first introduction to Star Wars, and then obviously I got real caught up with the end battle scene with Vader and Luke. I mean, that was really at the end what really hooked me, was seeing that. The Emperor scared me, he's just obviously an evil man.
Right.
But it was just, the whole thing was just compelling. I loved it.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction.
That's such an awesome story. So I mean, ours are kind of like similar. We accidentally fell upon epic movies and fell in love. So
exactly. Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
And you made the comment in our comments that, can you believe that for like 30 years, all we had were these 3 films? I mean, like, think about that. Everybody that's listening right now, we held on for all these years with 3 films.
That's right.
Until Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah. And that's all we had. And the expanded universe, but
that's, I didn't even have that.
You didn't have that. Yeah. You didn't dabble in that, but
no.
But that was a special time though, because like because it was a simpler time to be like to be almost Yoda-esque.
Yeah.
It was a simpler time.
Yeah.
But I mean it was special because you could appreciate that more.
Exactly.
So it was really awesome to have just those 3 cherished films.
But I do remember.
I mean, not saying that I don't appreciate everything coming out.
Oh,
I'm
right.
Just saying, it was neat.
It was. Well, that's the reason why, like, even though I was like, what was I, 11 or 12 when Phantom Menace came out, I was so ready for Phantom Menace, even though it had been, maybe 4 years since I'd seen it, because I was so, like, I wanted more. I wanted to know, like, what happened before all of this, because I knew there was a big story that happened before all of this.
I remember being so excited for Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Force of Light's in the house. Hi, ladies.
Oh, hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Ladies, I just watched your reaction vid for Book of Boba Fett. It was so good.
Awesome. Hey, Amanda actually says that Return of the Jedi is her favorite too. So
that is so awesome, Amanda.
Yes.
Mine too. So I love the way it starts. I love the very beginning. I love Jabba's palace so much. That's what I want. I hope. I mean, I know that Boba Fett is not Jabba, but I hope that energy and excitement and vitality is transferred from Jedi to Book of Boba Fett. I really do, because it was Jabba's palace was always such an enigmatic place. I mean, there's all these creatures. They all have names. Bib Fortuna, Salacious Crumb, who I love Salacious Crumb. I always did. I love how he's fascinated with like Jabba's tail. And like he watches it move while he's sleeping. I mean, it was just like little details like that is like so awesome.
Right.
And I love that 3PO never knows the plan.
I know, I love that. 3PO is just hilarious in this film.
He's so funny.
He
never knows what's going on.
Never.
And so he's like, Luke is like the holograph of Luke. And are you going to tell him what you thought Luke looked like? Because he totally does.
Yes. So I don't know about you guys, but to me, like when you see Luke in the hologram, he just looks like a Catholic priest to me. And I don't know if that was like the angle Lucas was going towards, but he just looks like a Catholic priest.
It's the hair and the black.
It was all
I
black
mean,
and looked like he had an open
all
collar here.
it's everything kind of comes together and it looks very priest like. And I had never thought of that until you said that, and now I can't stop thinking of it.
And then then you see him even more and he's wearing more black. I don't know. I think it's just the fact that he's all in black, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Luna Girl, do not get me started on size noodles. Do not get me started on that.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I complained so badly about size noodles. I really feel bad.
Same. No,
I totally
feel
get
the same.
like,
I feel the same.
I totally get that she was this original character that was supposed to be in, and the technology wasn't there and all this crap or whatever.
Yeah.
But the technology wasn't there when they redid it. Like the CGI is really bad.
Yeah. Right. I agree. Yeah, I don't know why he felt the need to add that extra stuff. I just think that it wasn't necessary, Again, I just wish he could have left some things alone,
Yeah.
But
he changed the music.
And the music. Although I know you hated the music at the end, but again, that's what I grew up with, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't have a memory of what the old stuff sounded like. I mean, if I were to go on YouTube, is there any of that?
YouTube video. Yeah. I'll
send me a YouTube because I want to know what the original sounded like. Because
it's very jaunty.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Very cool.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
So I grew up on that, and so this I will tell you this, and I don't want to fast forward through any of this because we've got so much to discuss. But I watched this. I had a copy of this video. I didn't have a copy of it. I rented it from a video store.
Okay.
Yes, those are real.
Yeah. I remember video stores. I went to video stores.
Go to the video store.
Yes.
And so I used to rent Return of the Jedi for like $2 or like $1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a spot in the tape. And if you don't know VHS tape, you just don't know what I'm talking about. But there was a spot of static.
Oh, yeah.
From rewinding it so many times and pausing it.
Yep.
At the last 15, 20 minutes of that film, there was I single-handedly made my mark on that tape. Because that was me. I created
that. Was you. Right.
Yeah. And so when the video store went out of business, because that happened, I went and they were selling out. I went and I bought the copy that I watched so many times. And grew up on. So
that's awesome.
It's like a nice piece of memorabilia from my childhood.
Absolutely. Yes. No, I grew up with VHS tapes. In fact, in my basement, I got a whole bunch of VHS tapes in a bag that I've been meaning to transfer over and stuff. Because I used to record movies on TV, because I couldn't afford to buy the movie, so I would do that, and then so I've been there.
Yeah, it's so nostalgic.
It is.
But yeah, so
Luna Girl also has the original tapes. Luna Girl has the original VHS tapes too, untampered.
Yes.
So she knows what you're talking about.
I think me and Luna Girl need to have an untampered with watch party.
That would be cool.
That would be amazing.
Cool. If only I could join you on that. But I don't think I could get my hands on that if I tried.
They're probably, they were really mass produced, so you could probably
you think they're worth a lot of money or something?
They're probably worth a lot to me. I mean, there might be. I don't know.
Yeah. Just because they're so rare or something, but
yeah.
But anyways, getting back to Return of the Jedi, how badass is it Leia killing Jabba all by herself? Like that felt so awesome to me with her own chain. Brandi, I would love that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Luna Girl's got to
find a
VCR. I have
Good
a VCR,
luck.
VCR DVD or a combo.
Okay.
And, cool. Yeah, because I still have all my tapes displayed. I know I love hard media.
Yes,
and so
I do too.
I still own DVDs and I still own Blu-ray.
I do
buy
too.
Blu-rays. And
I have to take all of mine off of my shelves though, because my daughter will sit and pick them all out, and then they end up all on the floor.
oh
So
yeah,
I had to like
that's
take them
fun.
out for as tall as she is, like as high as she can reach. So
Oh
I put them
yeah,
in a box somewhere. Yeah. Until
that's
she's old
smart.
enough to not do that anymore.
That's smart. So
Oh.
yeah, so it was amazing watching Leia kill Jabba with her own chain.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I feel that that was kind of like a little revenge of Carrie having to wear that bikini because she hated that bikini.
Yeah.
And
That's how
it
I
was,
felt watching it. I felt that.
like it did not conform to her body. So
Right.
like everybody behind her could see everything.
Yeah. I
And
felt
so
so bad for her.
I feel really bad.
That's
I
one of the
feel
only
so bad.
things that I hate about the whole, opening scene at Jabba's palace is I
Yeah.
hate watching her wear that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It
painful. Yeah.
is. So
And I love the salute to R2
yes,
when to get his lightsaber. That's
yes, yep.
awesome. And then of course, Han's like Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett, where? Bam!
Yeah.
He
And then
takes off. And then
Then
we
he ends
think
up in
that's the
there
end of
somewhere.
Boba Fett.
That's it. That's the end of him for a very long time. Yeah.
For a long time. But yeah, so I was kind of amazed at how much Luke matured as a Jedi in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's clearly a full-fledged Jedi at this point.
Yeah.
And you said that only a year passed between Empire and this? That's canon?
Canon, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Because it just seems like so much more time has passed because of how much he's matured.
It does. Like he fast tracked it somehow. I don't know.
He did. I mean, it just shows it's possible that you can be on the fast track to Jedi training. So let's hope that applies to Grogu as well, for the Mandalorian.
We want Grogu to be on that fast track.
Yes.
Get back to his daddy.
Exactly. I need a reunion and I need it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do we see here? Oh, gosh, this is kind of fast forwarding to how did we get to this point already in our notes? Remember the line, many Bothans died to bring us this information?
Oh my gosh, I love that. It reminds me of Rogue One.
Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's not the same mission. I totally know that, but it reminds me of it.
It reminds me of it. And I almost wonder if that was the inspiration to write Rogue One, knowing that there had to have been people that died to get them the plans to the Death Star in A New Hope. Yeah. So,
how dumb is it that they built another Death Star?
Right, I know.
Like let's build. Remember that big ball that hundreds of thousands of people died on.
Right.
Let's build another one just like that.
Just like it, yes. I actually thought it was kind of funny. Sorry, I know some people don't like her, but I thought that was a really great line in the Mandalorian finale with Cara Dune. When he said, I was on the Death Star, and she says, which one?
Yes.
Because, we blew up both of them.
Right, exactly.
So I really kind of like that remark.
Yeah, I love that too.
But the whole, the thing I love the most about Return of the Jedi, obviously you too, is just the connection between Luke and Vader, how they're sensing each other. And that was one of my favorite parts when Vader goes to the Emperor and says that he's on the moon. I sensed him. And then the Emperor's like, it's strange that I have not,
Because he didn't have that connection.
Precisely. Yep. But you can just see in his hubris and his arrogance, he just thinks, he's this all powerful Sith Lord, he's got the power of the dark side, but you cannot come between a father and a son,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They are so emotional. That's right, Amanda.
Yes, they are. So it was just so beautiful. And that whole scene, the scene where they confront each other when Luke turns himself in.
Oh my God. The scene in the corridor.
Yes. Yes.
That's right before I made the mark in the VHS.
Okay. Yes.
That is right before that. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah,
That scene is everything.
My favorite. That's everything.
Me too.
He examines his lightsaber, and it's almost like you can hear the pride in his voice.
Yeah,
And
a
he's
father's
like,
pride.
and then Luke is like, I know they're still good in you. The Emperor hasn't driven it from you fully. And
Mm-hmm.
then he's like, it's too late for me, son.
Too late for me,
and
son.
I'm like, oh.
I'm just like, why are you being so stupid? Don't you see your son wants to save you? That you're loved?
You know,
come on, dude.
The whole movie, there's like this defeated air about Vader whenever you see Palpatine.
Yes.
Like, he is just a slave to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's all he ever was.
Yep.
So, I mean,
I just wonder.
Vader's story is tragic.
It's so tragic. And there was a line when the Emperor is trying to get Luke to turn, and that was in his throne room or whatever, when he was saying, you will be mine, just like your father or something.
Yes.
And it's like, how does Vader feel hearing that, knowing that he is owned by the Emperor? He's bragging about it right in front of you, and he's bragging about how he's going to lure your son. Yeah. It's like, it just amazes me that he's still like held on as long as he did before he finally made the decision to kill him. But
and Luna Girl mentioned Yoda's death. Oh my gosh, that broke me.
Yeah, Yoda's death was really hard for me.
A lot happened in Return of the Jedi. I mean, it's just like past.
So much. Everything went full circle. Again, when Luke finally confronts Obi-Wan, why didn't you tell me? You know, why didn't you tell me that Vader was my father? And then you get to finally hear Obi-Wan's perspective on that, which I agree with. From a certain point of view. And the thing is, I agree with Obi-Wan's decision, because when Obi-Wan first met Luke is like all new to all of this, you know, and he's trying to like gradually get him to take on this new role of his life, to take this destiny. This is his destiny, and he's trying to steer him towards it. Don't you think it'd be a little much if you told him, oh yeah, and by the way, Darth Vader is your father? Like, I just think that's a little overwhelming, you know, at the first time. So maybe just kind of phrase it a certain way, you know. We'll get to that eventually, he's probably thinking.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but yeah, the whole Yoda's final words, there is another. I love that that's, again, another hint that this could be Leia. And then, obviously, Obi-Wan confirms it. So... Yeah, and there's really so much that was jam-packed in Return of the Jedi. But, yeah, so what else? What else kind of pops out at you?
There's a lot of parallels between... I know we're not talking about The Last Jedi, but there's a lot of parallels between that throne room scene and the throne room scene. And I think Rian Johnson did that on purpose.
Oh, he had to have, because they're too similar. And they're similar yet still different.
I love both of them, and I think that's why, because I love the Return of the Jedi.
Me too.
And there were so many, like, you know, Rey's watching the Rebel fleet be destroyed.
Right, and Luke did.
And Luke is watching the Rebel fleet, you know, even down to the Red Guards. I mean, it was maybe a little derivative, but, you know.
Yes. Yep. No, I agree. Luna Girl, comment on the dress, because you made a comment about Leia's dress. You made a comment. I want to hear it.
The dress was so beautiful, but how did the Ewoks get their hands on a human-sized dress? Like, they had to have like a victim or something.
And where are they?
Did they craft it with their little hands? I don't know.
Or maybe they stole it. Who knows?
They could have stolen it.
They came across a human village that was abandoned, and this looks pretty.
Some beautiful woman to wander into their forest so they could give it to her.
Right.
Oh my gosh. I love it though. I love it. It is beautiful. And her hair is like the way it's down with the braids.
Yes, I love that it's down. I know. I love it. I love that.
She's such a queen.
She is. She really is. And I love how insecure Han was after that exchange between Luke and Leia, which I love, by the way. I love how that whole thing went down, asking about, you know, do you have any memory of your mother and
she
everything.
Intuited what he what he was saying. That she's
Right.
like, somehow I always knew.
Somehow I always knew.
Mhm.
And that's just so beautiful. Like all
It's
this stuff
beautiful.
going on under the surface, you know, that just encapsulates life. Like, you know, we have our gut feelings about certain things, about certain
Right.
people, and you know, this is no different. But yeah, I love how after Luke leaves, and then Han is all insecure and jealous and wondering what's going on. Like, you know, it was just kind of funny to me. But I did love at the end when he learns that Luke and Leia are actually brother and sister. That smile on his face, like,
Oh yeah.
I'm in the clear, yay! No worries here.
No worries.
I totally
Oh,
got the
man.
girl.
And
I
the
made
funeral
kind of.
pyre.
Oh, the funeral pyre,
Mhm.
yes. Yeah, that I always tear up during that scene too. And I think it's because of the music too. Like, right?
Yeah,
It's
the score
swelling.
is so beautiful
score
in
is so
both movies.
Yes, it is. You know, I made a comment too about the funeral pyre. Just yeah, I think I was more emotional this time around watching that because just knowing how we started out, we literally started out with the Phantom Menace, seeing Anakin as a little
Mhm.
boy, and just watching him like through the Clone Wars and everything that he endured, all of the
Yes, the
loss
end
and
of
the
his
suffering.
story.
Yeah, and it's truly the end of his story. Like, this
Yeah.
is it, you know? So it was very emotional for me. It was beautiful. But yeah, so again, just love. One thing that I didn't realize, and I mean, I've realized it in the past, but when Luke makes the decision to, you know, not turn to the dark side, that he's
Mhm.
going to stay a Jedi, like when he
Yes.
strikes Vader down, cuts off his hand, and he sees that Vader's hand was mechanical, like his is.
Like his, yeah.
Yes, and he's looking at his weapon, and he's realizing that he is on the verge of becoming what his father was, and he's not going to
Mhm.
do that. He wants to be who his father was before he became Darth Vader.
Right.
And the fact that he throws his weapon away, he's completely being selfless at this time, at this
Yeah.
point, you know, and that was the only way that he was going to save himself. It wasn't the Force. It wasn't, you know, how skilled he was with a lightsaber. You know, it was love. It was choosing,
Yeah.
you know, choosing the Jedi way. And I love that line. I am a Jedi, like my father.
Like my
before
father
me.
before me, yeah.
Oh, I just love that.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
And
Yeah.
watching that scene again when Vader's turning constantly between, you know, the Emperor and
Oh my
Luke.
gosh.
I can't stop thinking about that article you talked about his, like, what was going on through his brain. I mean, that was brilliant. Remember the article you talked about?
Oh
How-
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, about like, should I save my son or should I kill my master? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
total
And
stuff.
like, should I did like kill my master, save my son? I can't have it both ways.
Yep.
And then I don't know how they did it, how the actor did it, but like you can see the conflict on his face,
Mhm.
but he doesn't have a face. It's just a mask.
It's just the mask. Oh,
But,
the
like,
camera
you can
work too, kind of
see-
zooming in a little bit.
I mean, yeah, you can see the conflict. It's just beautiful. And like
Mhm.
you know, at that moment, coupled with the music and the acting, the decision that he makes and is to save his son at the
Mhm.
expense of his life.
Exactly. And again, I always tear up. Everybody says they tear up at this. It's just, you can just tell this is the heart of Star Wars. It's family.
Yeah.
But again, one of the last lines that I love so much is when Luke says, "But I have to save you," and Anakin replies, "You already
And
have,
already
Luke."
have.
Oh, I just love that line so much.
Yeah, it's
So,
beautiful. And then he's like, "Tell your sister she was
tell
right
your
about
sister
me." Yeah.
that you
Or
were right.
You were
Yes.
right.
Tell
Yeah.
your sister. Oh gosh. Yeah, I was a lot more emotional this time around just because I think we've just gone through this whole journey,
Yeah.
you know, and seen everything that we've seen. It really felt satisfying. I was sad it's over. I can't believe we got through the original trilogy so quickly.
It was really fast.
It was really fast.
I really wanted to savor Return of the Jedi, but I don't know how you make a 2 hour and 15-minute movie longer.
Right.
Like,
No.
I mean, we did all we could. We enjoyed
could.
it.
We might have to rewatch it again.
I know. I know. But then, you know, at the end, they've got all the celebrations from all across the world, from all across the planet
galaxy,
or galaxy, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, all that was added. That was not in the original.
I know you didn't like that, but I did. It makes sense.
Since I'm actually okay with it.
Okay. Okay.
I just take offense to the Ewok Village music being changed.
Even though I like it, I can't wait to hear the original. I
Oh my
trust you
gosh.
that
Oh
it's
my
better.
gosh, it's so much better.
Okay.
I remember watching it, but I will say this: taking out Sebastian Shaw as a Force Ghost and putting in Hayden was brilliant.
I really liked
that
that.
completed the journey. That
Yep.
completed it.
Yeah. Now I do remember Sebastian Shaw. I do remember him as the Force Ghost when I watched it originally. But that's one of the only things from the original that I remember. I think that's the one that is the most glaring difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think it was a right decision.
Sure. It was
for
the right
Hayden.
thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also right, and we talked about this in the chat, but remember the actor that played the Emperor in the hologram?
Yes. I had no idea about that.
Yeah, he was different from Ian McDiarmid.
Mm-hmm.
So they fixed that. So that was,
I had no idea about that.
That was appropriate. I don't hate the additions. It's just like I think some of them are egregious.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sice Noodles.
Yes. Well, I think we're all in agreement about that. I don't know what Lucas was thinking. Yeah. But I don't know. I think in his own mind, Lucas is just trying to make his work better or make the story
better. And you
better.
Can respect that. I can respect that.
Same. I mean, at the end, we have to remember this all started with him. It's his story, and that's something that I was rewatching a little bit of behind the scenes of the Mandalorian remakes because I love listening to Dave Filoni talk about Star Wars because the man's a genius. And he has tremendous respect for George Lucas and his vision. And he, has said that he's made decisions or whatever, and George will come to him and say, well, that's not what I had in mind. And they'll have a little powwow and talk things through. But he has tremendous respect for what George wants in the end. So
and that's important because he did give us all this.
He did give us all of this. He gave us these characters, this entire universe. And so we kind of have to trust him a little bit with that, with those instincts. So, but yeah, this was really awesome. I had so much fun watching these two films back to back with you. It went by too fast. We might have to just watch them again just for the hell of it because they're great films. But you know what this means, though. Right?
I know.
We get to watch The Mandalorian again.
I'm so excited for The Mandalorian, and I have not watched it.
I haven't either. And this is amazing coming from us, especially me, because I have to watch it over and over again. But yeah, I have not watched it. I savored until this. I wanted to wait until this moment. So. So that's where we're going to be at next time on our journey. We're going to be taking on The Mandalorian, and I think we probably can be able to squeeze in a Loki episode or two and get that done. Yeah. Luna Girl said she was going to be watching Loki, so that'll be fun to maybe get some feedback from her about what she thinks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great discussion. Yeah, thank you guys so much
Amanda.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. The whole season 1 of Luna Girl's asking.
We'll probably split it up into eps.
So maybe
we'll watch maybe what 3,
1 or 2
of Mandalorian.
Are we talking about Loki or Mandalorian?
Mandalorian. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so we'll probably do. I'm trying to think. If we did 2, would it take 2 months to get the whole thing done? Maybe 3.
What did the sacred text say?
I don't know. I haven't looked at them in a while.
Oh my gosh, that's blasphemy.
I know. I'm trying to humble myself here and be honest. I think it says 2 episodes a night, but we could probably squeeze 3 in. They're not that long.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do 2, we could do 2. There's no need to rush it.
Yeah, I suppose. I want to get in time for Boba Fett, but I guess we have till the end of December for that. So we should be fine. Okay, so we're going to be starting 2 episodes a week of The Mandalorian, and then we'll squeeze in 1 episode of Loki.
Nice.
How's that sound? Okay. So
You're
that's
doing
our
that
plan.
just for me, aren't you?
Yes, I am. You've waited a long time. You've been a
Thank
very,
you so
very
much.
patient. I know you do.
It's so good. Oh my
It
gosh.
really is. It really is. But yeah, so that's our plan going forward. Really can't, wait to do this again next week. You guys all make Mondays so much more bearable. Because usually I hate Mondays.
Monday's my long day, and like I get to end it on a high note. So thanks to you
that's
guys.
true. That's true. Yes. Well, thank you. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a really great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks,
May the force
everybody.
I can't talk anymore. Good night,
May the
guys.
force be with you.
May the force be with you. Night, guys.